Okay, so it's time for part one of my Jason Statham-athon, or Statham-athon. I'll go with Statham-athon, sounds much better. So I'll begin with what most people would know him for, and that was the Transporter series. Very simple to follow concept, essentially. It's Jason Statham driving a car and whooping the crap out of people through 3 different movies. So we'll start first off, which is the way most people should start off, which of course would be with the first one. Essentially, that kind of gave away the plot. I mean, he plays Frank Martin, essentially what he does. He is delivering a package. He's got 3 pretty simple rules. 1, deal's a deal. Never change the deal. Once you come to agreement what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. Don't turn back. No names. He doesn't really, you give him a code name, he gives you, you're not going to know who he is. Makes it a lot easier. Then in case something happens, he doesn't know who he's giving the package to. And 3, never ever look at the package. Doesn't matter what you're delivering. You're a transport. So your job is to take package from here to here. That's it. You don't care what it is, you just need to know who you're giving it to. Probably a code name. And in this one, Hank says, well, I'll take out the package because ironically it's making noise in the trunk of his car. It's a woman. The person who told him to deliver the package tries to kill him. He didn't have to do that. And then ends up finding out, well, you know what? They're people trafficking. Bunch of tremendous fight sequences happen. I mean, you can watch these movies pretty much for the fight sequences and the car chases. The plot, for the most part, is fairly believable and sprinkled in. This is pretty much just a straight-up action flick. And you're probably thinking, okay, so he drove a car with, essentially, a human transport. Okay. That's pretty much the first movie. I mean, it is thin on plot, high on action. But then again, you don't really need a ton of plot in these movies. You essentially just need whatever you need to make the next action sequence go to the next one. That's about it. 2. He's no longer in France. Statham is now in Miami. He's a chauffeur. Okay? How you go from transporting packages for gangsters and mob members and mafia to driving around a little boy. But that's okay, because drug dealers want to kill the little boy. That's what happens. They kidnap the boy. Statham rescues the boy, and they find, you know what? They've been infected with a 48-hour virus, which affects anyone who gets near them. You know what? Pretty much all out of the antidote. Okay. And most of the time, Statham is fighting a woman named Lola. So essentially, it's Statham doing the really wicked, gun fighting, car chase things against a female character doing essentially the same things. Lots of gunfire, lots of fist fighting, lots of in-close fighting. Again, great chase sequences, great action. This is essentially what he's known for. He's known for good fight sequences, good gunfights, and great driving. Anyways, back to the actual plot. So why would you infect this kid with a disease that he can spread to anybody who's near him? It's because of his dad. You know what his dad does? His dad's at a convention. A bunch of people who are trying to make sure it's really hard to sell drugs. Illegal drugs. But you probably know now, it's a cartel of people who deal in, oh man, what sort of drug are we looking at? Cocaine smugglers. So to recap the plot so far, Cocaine smugglers hired fake doctors to kidnap the son of someone who works for, and is trying to get together a bunch of people to make anti-drug trafficking laws much more robust, and is trying to really crack down on people who import drugs. Okay. But wait a minute. Frank is also, Statham's character, is also injected. So is he gonna die? You know, you think he would die at the end of this? After he whoops the crap out of the main villain in an airplane, you're gonna find out that in another movie, he ends up having like the climactic fight again in air. You know, the plane goes down, and then he actually gets the antidote, which miraculously was all gone, but there ended up being enough left over to make sure that, you know, the kid's family was okay. The Frank himself is also okay. Just before he has that nice, touching, you know, he's going to rejoin the family, he's like, you know what? No. I'm going to take, you know, my buddy back to the airport. Job well done. Time to call it a day. Then this phone rings. Someone's in need of a transporter. Bam, and you know what? Here we are again. Transporter 3. The nice thing is there's like 3 years between each movie. So we should be having Transporter 4 sometime in 2011, maybe. Oh yeah, it is a successful franchise, and it's easy to do. The only thing you need is a simple premise that involves Statham in a car somehow. So, in this one, Statham essentially is delivering a kidnapped person. Okay? At first, he thinks he's just delivering a package with her. Finds out that she is the package. And then they find out they've got bombs strapped to them. They can't be 75 feet away from the car, or else they're going to explode. Now, this one you can kind of tell they're really reaching, because what makes these movies really work is he could go fight people, you know, do a great, you know, hand-to-hand fight sequence, great gun sequence, and then get into a different car. Or use the same car, do a really great chase sequence, and then end that at like a gun battle. Or do a gun battle while driving, or in some cases actually do an awesome fight scene while doing a chase scene. Which is very intense. This one, it's like, okay, now they have to stay near the car at all times. And now it's not just Statham playing against a villain, it's Statham having to play against, you know, a woman who isn't really as strong of an actor as Statham, which is kind of bizarre. And essentially, what ends up coming down to is it's like, okay, what we need to do is we need to just keep on, you know, escaping life situations one after another, and it's kind of like, it's not as good, because, you know, essentially, it's like they took part of the first one where it's like, I want you to deliver this, but I'm also going to try to like punch you and kill you at the same time. I want you to deliver the package again as a girl, but you can't move away from the car, and I'm gonna like constantly send strong arm guys after you. So, not as strong as 2. So I like one more. Because we'll find out in 2011 if they ever actually do Transporter 4. To my knowledge, they're not going to. But that's part 1 of the Jason Statham-athon. Now, I do have a small list here. Currently, I did Transporters 1 through 3. And I said I recommend 1 and 2. 3 you can probably kind of skip unless you have more time. You know, have a really great just action night. Ghosts of Mars, the John Carpenter movie. And Cellular. That's the next one. The 2 Jet Li movies. Yes, he fought Jet Li in 2 movies. The One and in War. 4th one is going to be, essentially I call this heist movies. The Italian Job and The Bank Job. 5. Crank 1 and Crank 2, or Crank High Voltage, whatever you want to refer to it as. Then I've got 2 more that I might do a double header on. We try to keep these guys out approximately every Friday, and there might be a bonus on one of the eves. Don't quite know yet. So the Jason Statham-athon, full speed ahead. You know, that actually is really lame. I'm not going to end it with that. You know, I really don't have a way of ending this one. Because, you know, for a guy who's great when it comes to just, especially driving cars, shooting people, and punching people, you know, there isn't sort of a catchy way to end this one, is there? I mean, there's got to be something that I could do to end this video with that would just make it seem really, I don't know. Wait a minute,